Welcome to Living a Healthy Lifestyle book study series. This month's book is going to be a book by Cathy Morenzie called Healthy Eating God's Way. 12 Pillars to Calm Your Cravings, Master Your Diet, and Look and Feel Great. Doesn't that sound great? My name is Nancy Marks, and a little bit about why I'm doing this. In 2019, that was me on the left, I weighed about 214 pounds. And I, at that time, was pretty much believed that I was just fine the way I was. And so I really didn't need to lose weight. But God kept nudging me. And I found a devotion called Weight Loss God's Way on YouVersion. And it was a 21-day challenge version devotion. And so I signed up for it, I think in July, and it took me until probably the end of November to finish 21 days because I still wasn't convinced that this is something I needed to do. However, God prevailed and gave me a little stronger push, and I signed up for the online Weight Loss God's Way by Cathy Morenzie. And I found a strong community there, and it was just a great way. And then, of course, COVID hit. And so I was pretty motivated during that time. I could have been gaining weight, but I used that time to really lose weight. And it took me probably a year and a half or so to get down to my ideal weight. And I've been there for a while. I've gained a little back. And so this book study really helps me remind me of the things that I've learned before. So it's a good review for me, as well as being with you all. What you'll need is a copy of this book, Healthy Eating God's Way. I love the subtitle there, 12 Pillars to Calm Your Cravings, Master Your Diet, and Look and Feel Great. You'll need a Bible and a journal, something to write in. Optional but nice, a copy of one or more of one of these cookbooks, the Weight Loss God's Way Low Carb Cookbook by Cathy Morenzie, or the Complete Mediterranean Cookbook. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. The overview of the program is there's 20 days of devotions. And what I've noticed is that there's a devotion for 6 days. And then the 7th day is kind of a catch-up day and a day to kind of review, make sure that you're on track. So there's a devotion that you could read each day, that you need to read each day, and it takes about 15 to 20 minutes. So find a way to set that time aside. We'll have a weekly Zoom meetings on Mondays that will recap the previous week's lessons. We also include like a tech tip, because I think technology can really help you in this. And I also usually include some other kinds of things that are just ways to just get connected with each other. You'll need to weigh weekly on Wednesday and record on a data sheet or on MyFitnessPal app. I would highly recommend the MyFitnessPal app. I'm going to do some little tech tip tutorials on how to use it. And we're going to record your weight and then share how you're doing. Are you releasing weight, which means you lose weight? We don't want to lose it though, because that means you're going to get it back. So we call it releasing weight. And then weekly, I'm going to call it Menu Monday, is try a healthy eating recipe and share that on Zoom. We'll talk about that. So each day, try to find out time to study your lessons, preferably the first thing in the morning. If you miss a day, give yourself some grace, but get back into it. Don't let it stop you, and get caught up and just do what you have to do, but don't rush it. The journey is really about daily progress. Each day, if you look at the chapter, all of her books are set up the same way. There's a topic, a scripture, a daily devotion, an action step, something to do, a place to reflect, and a prayer, and then some additional scriptures. The reflection, I think, is the most important part. You can do that in a journal. This is an example. I keep a 2-year journal. So I keep a journal. The top half is 1 month and 1 year. And then the next year I come back, and it's really interesting to go back and reflect on what I wrote from the previous year. Well, I will also be sending out a daily text. So look for that text and then respond to that as well. So what can you expect with this devotional? Well, you can expect some resistance. You can expect that you're going to work. You need to work. You'll get what you put into it. I like that. Expect renewed joy and hope in the Lord, and expect to feel a little fear, and expect some changes in your patterns. The new thing that I'd like to add this time, every Monday or every week, choose a healthy meal. And here's a couple of books that I talked about before. Cathy Morenzie's Weight Loss God's Way Low Carb Cookbook has a lot of different kinds of menus that are in it. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, those kinds of things. But choose something. The other cookbook that I really have liked that really changed a lot of what I eat and how I eat is the Complete Mediterranean Cookbook. We got that for Christmas, I think 2019, the year that I started this whole thing on my weight release journey. And it has really changed the way we eat. And it has some delicious recipes in it. And I'll be able to share some of those with us. So choose a healthy meal. It doesn't have to be from here. It could be online. You can find something that looks healthy. Buy the groceries. Sometimes you have to plan ahead to buy the groceries. Prepare the meal, and be ready to share it on our Monday Zoom class. I think it'll be fun to learn what people are doing and how it tastes. And one more thing. I always have to remember that you have to have, in order to change, you have to practice a habit. So challenge yourself. Choose 2 habits this month. One habit having to do with food. So it could be tracking your food intake on MyFitnessPal. I would really suggest that you download MyFitnessPal. I'm going to be using that quite a bit and giving some tech tips along the way on how to use it. Another option might be to maintain your carbohydrate content to 100 grams or fewer, or maybe between 100 and 150. You can track that with MyFitnessPal. Maintain your calorie allotment. MyFitnessPal will work for that too. Another option was intermittent fasting, which means that you don't eat for at least 14 hours. So it could be between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. That's 12. So 8 a.m., at least 14 hours. She suggests 16 or more. Or maybe drink more water. A guideline for that is you should drink half your weight in ounces. So if you weigh 180 pounds, you should be drinking 90 ounces of water a day. That's a lot, isn't it? But try it. So consider, what is your habit going to be this month as far as food goes? And don't forget exercise. Exercise and healthy eating go hand in hand. So set an exercise goal. Maybe it's that you're going to exercise 15 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day. Whatever you've been doing, increase it just a little bit. Or maybe you're going to do so many steps. So if you've been using MyFitnessPal, you'll be able to look at that and say, okay, I've been doing an average of 5,000 steps a day. So I'm going to make it 6,000 this month. So make it a goal of something you're going to do. It just needs to be something. So something having to do with eating and something having to do with exercise. We will be having some weekly contests. And Val is our coordinator for contests. So if you have a prize that you'd like to share with her, you can send it to her, a prize, 1 or 2. Or if you want to send her some money, and she loves to go shopping, so she will find some prizes. So you can send the prize, and then the money will help cover the cost of the prizes and mailing. So there's her address, and there's her shiny face. She's our prize coordinator. We'll have some weekly contests. We're going to have, for everyone, there'll be a habit. So how many times did you practice your habit? And you can choose whether it's going to be your eating habit or your exercise habit, but maybe it should be your eating habit this month since we're talking about eating. So if it's drink 90 ounces of water a day, how many days did you do that? And then the second contest will be weight release. So we'll have one winner for the month that talks about how much weight you've released. We'll also have some extra challenges, which could be exercise minutes and steps winners. And we'll talk about those more next time. So figure out what you're tracking. So here's what you need to do this week. First, weigh and take your measurements on November 1st or close to it. And you can record that on your data monthly sheet. And it looks like this, hopefully. So here's some things to do this week. On November 1st, or as close to it as possible, weigh and take your measurements and record them on the data monthly sheet, which talks about all of the measurements that you have. If you don't know some of the information like the BMI or the waist to hip, don't worry about that, but record your weight, your chest, waist, hip, thigh, and pants leg, and put that on there. And if you've had any celebrations, notes about it that have gone well, then record them in that last column. Next, decide on your eating habit and your exercise habit and download a data sheet and record each day if you've accomplished your eating habit and your exercise goal. There's a couple of options. One is the monthly data sheet, and this is one that I put together. So at the top, you're going to write in here, what's your eating goal? What's your exercise goal? And at the top, you'll write that up there. And then each day, write down what it is you did. But this, and then, did you do it? Just put a yes. Did you do your healthy eating goal? So if it's counting calories, I would put my calories in there. And then I'd say, yes, I counted them. That's 1 point. If I'm going to count steps, I might record my steps number right there and then note what I did to exercise. Here, the last column is to record your weight, and that's every Wednesday. Or a second option is the monthly data sheet that Cathy Morenzie put together that looks like this. And where you do that, you put your target weight up here, you put your month of the year, you write down your 2 habits, and then your start weight. And then over here, each week you write down a plus if you met habit number 1. So if month 1 was exercise, you just put a plus there. And number 2 was your healthy eating, whatever that was, you put that there, you put a plus here. So it's just a way to say, yes, I did it. Yes, I did it. Or no, I didn't, but it's a way to track. Then each day this week, read your daily devotions and respond to the text prompt that I'll send out. And plan and prepare a healthy menu and be ready to share it next week. So I hope you're feeling good about this. I am. I'm excited. It's been a fun group to be a part of, and welcome to anyone who's new. And I look forward to seeing you next Monday at 7 o'clock. Blessings.